The recent Helluva boss finale ended with the shocking reveal that Millie herself is pregnant. Something people were surprised I didn't mention in yesterday's video, but most of you guys knew I'd be doing a dedicated one for her today. My name is Deepcut, demons call me ImpCut, subscribe, and leave a comment down below suggesting baby names for Moxie and Millie. Now we all knew something was up with Millie when she went on her rampage and really wanted to kill this family that Blitz and Moxie both agreed they just couldn't handle. It seemed out of character for Millie, or at least a little bit more aggressive than the talk she had with Moxie about this sort of thing back in the first episode. And early on, we were led to believe this was just because Millie was celebrating Sinsmas and just going a little wild embracing her wrath side. At the end of the episode, however, Millie did a pregnancy test where we saw that she is with child. This allows you to look back at the episode and see that Millie was actually acting hormonal, with the demon pregnancy bringing out her defensive motherly instincts, making her more aggressive when she has the opportunity, whether in play or at work. This led to affectionate wrestling with Moxie and her being strangely aggressive about killing the human family when everyone else just wanted to go home. But now we know Millie is pregnant, Moxie is going to be a dad, and season 3 and 4 will likely explore this pregnancy, birth, and raising of the child. So far, this is something fans are acting excited about, and it is exciting as a form of fiction, but I think it's possible Millie may be used to explore just how hard it is to raise a child in hell, and really in real life. In media, raising a child is generally presented as a happy experience, and when it's not, it's generally a lesson about learning to deal with the stress of a baby and adjusting to a new lifestyle where all you have to do is focus on your child. But that isn't reality, and it may not be this fantasy either. The story of Helluva Boss and Hazbin Hotel is that they take what we experience in real life on Earth and show how horrifying it is by presenting it as happening in hell with supernatural embellishments. They take the idea of what if there were all these cool different kinds of demons, and just like with different races on Earth, they begin to create oppressive hierarchies. They have overlords who own entire industries that decide what you see on TV and what you hear on the radio, controlling the news and the information you receive. The medical capital of hell gets you addicted to pharmaceuticals, then charges you to detox in a rehabilitation center when you feel it's ruining your life. I'm explaining all of this to illustrate that what happens next with Moxie and Millie may not be very pleasant, and Millie's fears of raising a child may be extremely justified. Right now, she and her husband are able to support themselves, and Blitz's business is doing okay, but it's not like he can afford a separate bedroom for him and his daughter, and Moxie and Millie likely can't either. They found a system that works mostly because the only obligation IMP has is to each other. They just want to keep doing what they love and making just enough money to survive. But once you add a child to the equation, it begins to complicate things. And unfortunately, it's not like there's a better alternative. Part of the reason Millie chose this life was because there seemed to be no valid options for her and Wrath. While she does come from a big family and they live on a farm, that doesn't mean they were all well fed, and outside of the Harvest Festival, imps may be eating rather lean, all things considered. They're shown to not make much money, and if that didn't cut into how hard it is to have a home and keep food on the table, then it wouldn't have been an issue that Millie needed to run away from. She seemed to notice how much her family and the imps struggled as a group, and having a small apartment with just her partner might have seemed like a smart alternative. Having a child would complicate that, because with each mission, someone would have to stay back to take care of the baby. And whoever does go on that mission has to risk not coming home to their child that night. This would be even more difficult without Millie there to protect Moxie and vice versa, as I doubt they're gonna leave the baby with just Luna or even Stolas. But going back to farm work or freelance won't pay the bills or keep her safe either. So like a lot of people in life, Millie's only real option seems like financial dead ends. It's not that they can't try to scrape by, but again, like a lot of people in real life, she will probably start seeing the life she built as having a countdown to falling apart. Constantly building to a point, maybe years from now, where a bad injury puts them in medical debt or Blitz isn't able to pay them because of a slow period at work. Millie seems like she may have run away from home to escape this sense of helplessness and the simultaneous burden of the hard work that Sally Mae felt was left behind for her. And now that Millie might be having a child, she could be unsure of whether or not she wants to keep it, and especially unsure of what to say to Moxie. Moxie will likely have the opposite reaction, as Moxie seems like he wants to be a dad, and he will be itching to fix the mistakes his father made with him. He'd never want his child to feel unappreciated or unloved, and especially not abandoned the way he felt after he thought his mother left him before realizing his dad actually killed her. Man, the show is wild. And I wouldn't be surprised if part of what we see going forward is Moxie and Millie debating whether or not to go through with the pregnancy, for lack of better phrasing. In the end, I imagine imagine they will of course end up having the baby, but it could be the start of a rather long story about how hard it is to be a parent, not just in Hell, but on Earth, focusing more on the crazy way that Hell's twisted mirror to our system affects children as well. This big pregnancy reveal really fits with where the show is going as a whole, I would say, and it's hard to believe that this all started as smaller short adventures up to Earth to kill random humans. Then it became this exploration of small glimpses of Hell before transitioning this last season into something more of a soap opera. This was signaled to us at the end of Season 1 in Part 1 of the finale. Up to this point, we were mostly focused on exploring new rings, and while that continued in this episode and on to the one after, each episode began to hone in more and more on the crying of our characters as they move closer and further apart in their relationships. This was foreshadowed, if you can call it that, by Stolas before he joins Blitz in the Lust Ring, where he is watching a hella-novella involving a crying imp and her tragic love life. That's what the show has become since then, but in a good way. Season 2 already had us explore the drama these characters all had a bit more externally and in the world around them. But as we get into the planned 3rd and 4th seasons, it looks like we'll be seeing the relationships more from the inside. Stolas and Blitz will be living together, and while there will be some drama, I doubt it will be the will they won't they, on again off again type that we've had so far. Instead, we'll start seeing Stolas and Blitz like Moxie and Millie, developing as a couple and more so facing issues together. And we'll be getting even more of that with Moxie and Millie with the inclusion of their new baby. Now, the channel is known for comparative mythology and esoterica in cartoons, which is great, but somehow it went right over my head that this baby may have been conceived on Christmas, or Sinsmas as they call it in Hell. Something I didn't notice until Haro pointed it out to me. Christmas is of course the birth date of Jesus, and of course other people are born on Christmas Day all the time. But in the Helluverse, this symbolism could be fun. Now, I don't want to say that Millie is pregnant with the Antichrist, as that actually appears to be Charlie. But wouldn't it be fun if this was the beginning of some sort of anti-Antichrist? In this case, I'm in a figure that could oppose Satan in particular, because he's becoming more and more of a big villain in the Helluverse. With Lucifer kind of being chill and well-meaning in Hazbin Hotel, it made sense to make Satan more of a purposely oppressive leader, trying to attain worship from the imps and other demons. And the episode Mastermind really set the stage for seasons 3 and 4 to dive into the class struggle that exists between the imps and Satan. Wouldn't it make sense that perhaps this baby, at the very least, signals the possible fall of Satan by the end of the series? It's not that Moxie and Millie's baby has to kill him himself, but maybe it's just a sign that the IMP gang will eventually overthrow the system as it currently stands, or at least knock Satan down a peg or two, especially with the support of the other imps and natives who saw Blitz's trial televised. But what do you think? And don't forget to leave your suggestions for baby names for Moxie and Millie in the comments down below. Maybe if you believe hard enough, you can meme your dream into reality. While you're down there, check out the Cartoon Universe shop and consider buying one of our tragic gay childhood t-shirts. Or check out the video I put out about the Disney Atlantis film if you haven't seen it yet. This is a classic movie filled with crazy esoteric clues that you will love seeing broken down even if you haven't seen the movie. So go check it out. Elsewise, go look at that Hazbin Hotel iceberg breakdown I did if you haven't seen it yet. See you guys there.